Alright, let's be honest. When most of us think about pennies, we picture those little copper coins that end up stuffed in the bottom of your purse or scattered in the couch cushions. But what if I told you that one of those pennies, specifically a 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, is worth more than your entire coin jar combined? Yep, we're talking up to $3 million. Stick around, because today we're diving into how this tiny coin can make you a fortune. Now, I know what you're thinking. I've got a jar of pennies at home, but none of them are worth that much. Well, grab your magnifying glass and your lucky penny-finding hat because you might be sitting on a gold mine, well, a copper mine, technically. The 1972 penny. At first glance, it looks just like every other penny from that year, right? You've probably seen one a million times and never thought twice about it. It's got Honest Abe on the front, the date on the back, and that lovely, iconic E pluribus unum line. But here's the catch, some 1972 pennies don't have a mint mark. That's right, no D or S to indicate where they were made. They came straight from the Philadelphia Mint, and some of them are wildly rare. Now, you might be wondering, what's so special about a coin with no mint mark? Well, here's the thing. In 1972, there was a little mix-up at the mint, and a bunch of pennies were struck without that little letter. At the time, no one thought much of it. But fast forward to today, and collectors are going absolutely bananas for these babies. Why? Because they're rare, and rare coins, especially ones in excellent condition, are like gold in the world of numismatics. Here's where it gets crazy. Some of these 1972 no-mint mark pennies have been known to sell for a jaw-dropping $3 million. Yeah, you heard me right, $3 million for a penny. Let that sink in for a second. But hold up, don't go running to your change jar just yet. Not every 1972 no-mint mark penny is worth that much. Only the ones in pristine, uncirculated condition are fetching these astronomical prices. You see, the value of a coin depends on its condition, and the best ones are the ones that have never been used in circulation. So, if you've got one that looks like it's been through a war, it's probably not worth millions. And that's the kicker. These coins are like the mint condition sports cards of the coin world. The better the condition, the higher the value. So, if your penny's been sitting at the bottom of your pocket, it might be worth a little less. But don't give up hope just yet, those coins can still fetch a good amount of cash. You might be surprised. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, I'm not exactly a coin expert, how do I know if I have a rare one? Well, here's a little tip from me. Last year, I found a 1972 penny in my own coin jar, and I thought, could this be it? Could I be a millionaire? I pulled out my magnifying glass, inspected the coin like I was an archaeologist finding a dinosaur bone, and, nope, just a regular penny. But I've learned my lesson, you gotta check everything. So trust me, if you find that 1972 no-mint mark beauty, you could be holding a small fortune. So, the moral of the story is simple, don't underestimate your pennies. That little copper disc could be worth more than you think. If you've got a 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, take a closer look, and if it's in mint condition, you might just be sitting on a small fortune. But hey, even if your coin doesn't make you a millionaire, it's still a fun hobby to get into, and you never know what you'll find. You're sitting at home, sipping your coffee, maybe scrolling through old pennies in a jar when suddenly, you spot something weird. A 1976 penny with a D mint mark. You think, meh, probably just another coin that's worth a penny, right? Wrong. That little coin could be worth a cool $2.8 million. Yeah, you heard that right. Not a typo, $2.8 million. Stick around, because we're diving into how that humble 1976 D Lincoln penny could make you a fortune. Alright, let's back up a bit and talk about this phenomenal coin. The 1976 D Lincoln penny, which was minted in Denver, isn't your average change. Sure, most of these pennies are worth, well, 1 cent. But, just like finding a $20 bill in your coat pocket from last winter, sometimes you get lucky. Now, if you're wondering what makes a regular penny go from meh to millionaire status, here's the scoop: it's all about minting errors. That's right. While most of the 1976 pennies were struck perfectly, a few slipped through the cracks with some pretty serious errors. The one that caught everyone's attention was the double die error. Essentially, it's a mistake made when the die, which stamps the design onto the penny, hits the metal twice. This causes a doubling effect on the details, like Abraham Lincoln's face, which makes it look like he's been running a marathon and his features are a little blurry. See the difference? It's subtle, but it's there. And that doubling is what makes it so valuable. In fact, if you've got one of these beauties, depending on its condition, it could be worth up to $2.8 million. No, I'm not kidding. That's the kind of thing that gets collectors very excited. You might want to check your change jar after this video, seriously. Now, don't get too excited just yet. I hate to burst your bubble, but you won't find this penny sitting around in your piggy bank unless you've got some serious luck. You'll have to do some detective work to spot this error. And trust me, it's a process. Look closely at the date, the lettering, and, this is key, Abraham Lincoln's profile. If his face looks like it's got 2 layers of Lincoln-ness, you might just have a double die error on your hands. If it looks pretty much normal, well, don't toss it, but don't start planning your yacht trip either. It's still a penny. But hey, don't get discouraged. Even if you don't have $1 million penny, there are plenty of other coins out there worth way more than their face value. Just keep your eyes peeled, stay sharp, and maybe, just maybe, you'll stumble upon the next big find. Let me tell you a little story about my own coin adventure. So, I was cleaning out some old boxes in my basement last year when I came across a dusty jar full of pennies. I thought, what the heck, I'll sort through them. Most of them were just your average run-of-the-mill pennies, but then I found one from the 1940s. It wasn't the $1 million coin, but it was worth a couple $100 because of its rarity. I couldn't believe it. I'm not saying I'm some kind of coin wizard, but sometimes it's just about taking the time to look at your change and see what might be hiding in plain sight. So, if you've got a 1976 Lincoln penny, don't just throw it away. Take a moment to check it over. You could be looking at a gold mine, or at least a really cool story to tell your friends. And hey, even if it's not worth millions, don't forget that rare coins are out there, waiting to be discovered. What's up, coin collectors and treasure hunters? I've got a story for you today that's gonna make you look at your pocket change in a whole new way. Picture this: you're digging through a jar of pennies, just looking for that one lucky find, and you come across a 1986 Lincoln penny. Normally, that's about as exciting as watching paint dry, right? But, what if I told you that this penny, with NO mint mark, could be worth a whopping $2.7 million? Yeah, you heard that right. It's not a typo. It's real. Stick around because today we're going to dive into why this penny is worth more than your average coffee order at Starbucks. And trust me, you won't want to miss this. We all know that pennies aren't worth much, right? A penny for your thoughts, a penny saved is a penny earned, blah blah blah. But the 1986 Lincoln penny without a mint mark? That's a different story altogether. Now, you're probably thinking, wait, but aren't there millions of pennies from 1986? Yep, you're right. But here's the kicker: this particular penny is incredibly rare. It doesn't have the usual mint mark you'd expect to see. Why is that important? Well, it means this penny didn't come from either the Philadelphia or Denver Mint, which is pretty much where all the regular pennies are made. So, you can guess what happened next. Some sneaky, accidental error happened at the US Mint, and a few of these 1986 pennies slipped out without the mint mark. And let me tell you, when something's a mistake, collectors go nuts for it. People are crazy about rare, one-of-a-kind coins. And that little mistake turned this penny into a gold mine. Well, not literally gold, but close enough. Now, this little beauty, this penny, could land you $2.7 million at auction. Yeah, $2.7 million. For a penny that probably looks just like the ones you find under your couch cushions. Who knew, right? I mean, I've looked through my own change before, and I'm pretty sure I had a 1986 penny once. But I wasn't exactly checking for mint marks. I was too busy trying to figure out how to get the vending machine to spit out my bag of chips without charging me extra. My loss, your gain. So, how do you know if you've got this $1 million mistake on your hands? Well, first off, the 1986 penny with no mint mark is usually found in pretty good condition. Look for that pristine copper color and examine the front and back carefully. If it's a regular 1986 penny but missing that mint mark, which is usually on the obverse side, yeah, that's the side with Lincoln's face, then you might be holding on to something priceless. But here's the kicker, this coin isn't just rare. It's special. This mistake didn't happen in every batch, so there are only a few known to exist. Now, before you go pulling out every 1986 penny in your collection and setting up a garage sale, let me remind you that this doesn't mean every 1986 penny is worth millions. It's the no mint mark ones that are the real jackpot. And if you find one, congrats, you've got yourself a nice little piece of US coin history. But here's the thing, whether it's this penny or another rare coin, the world of coin collecting can be seriously profitable. Coins like these can end up being life-changing, and you don't need to be an expert to start collecting. Just keep an eye out for the unusual, the rare, and the little mistakes that slip through the cracks. You never know when you might find your own $1 million penny. So, next time you're at the gas station or rifling through your change, remember this little story. You could be holding on to a small fortune without even knowing it. And, hey, if you do find one, make sure you don't spend it like I probably would have, by buying more chips from the vending machine. So, here's a fun question for you, what's something that you probably have in your pocket right now, and it could be worth $2.5 million? Yes, you heard me right. I'm talking about the 1991 Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, before you go all I've been carrying around a small fortune, let's dive into this crazy story about how a penny from 1991 is making big waves in the world of rare coins. Stick around, because we're about to go on a wild ride that could totally change how you look at your loose change. The 1991 Lincoln penny sounds like a pretty regular penny, right? I mean, it's from the 90s, so it's not like it's some ancient relic or anything. But there's one tiny detail that can turn this coin into an absolute goldmine, and by goldmine, I mean a whopping $2.5 million, which is a bit more than you'd get from the spare change in your couch cushions. So, what's the deal? Here's the thing, this penny isn't just a regular 1991 penny. It's one that doesn't have a mint mark. Now, in case you're not familiar, a mint mark is that little letter you usually find on the back of the coin, right under the year, which shows where it was made. For most of the 1991 pennies, they've got a mint mark that tells you whether it was made in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But there's a small batch of 1991 pennies that slipped through the cracks, with no mint mark at all, and you're probably asking, how does that make it worth $2.5 million? Well, let me take you back to the early 90s for a sec. The US Mint made some production errors, and a handful of pennies got out into the wild without any mint marks. This was a huge mistake, obviously, and because of that, these no mint mark pennies are extremely rare, like the unicorns of the penny world, and that rarity? Well, it makes them super valuable. In fact, there's one of these bad boys that just sold for $2.5 million at an auction. That's enough to make you rethink the pennies you toss into a jar at home, right? So, here's the $1 million question, how can you tell if you've got one of these rare, no mint mark pennies? Well, the easiest way is just to look at the back. No mint mark means something's up, and you've got yourself a treasure. But here's the kicker, it's super hard to find them. In fact, these coins are so rare that they almost never pop up in circulation. If you do find one, though, you might just have a ticket to the big leagues of coin collecting. Now, let me share a little personal story here. A few months ago, I was going through some old coins I had tossed into a box when I was a kid, the same kind of box where everyone shoves their pennies, nickels, and dimes, right? Anyway, I found a 1991 penny and thought, another penny. Nothing special. But, on a whim, I checked it out and, spoiler alert, no mint mark. For a second, I almost had a panic attack thinking maybe I'd struck it rich. Sadly, it wasn't one of the rare ones, but man, the hope it gave me for like 5 seconds was priceless. But hey, the moral of the story is, always double-check your change. You never know when you might strike gold. So, there you have it. The 1991 no mint mark penny, the coin that could be hiding in your change jar right now, just waiting to make you millions. Of course, finding one is like winning the lottery, but you've got to know what to look for, right? Now, before you start rummaging through every penny in your house, keep in mind that they are really rare. But hey, you never know when you might just get lucky. If you want more tips on what coins could be worth a ton of cash, and how to spot them, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm dropping new tips all the time to help you become a coin collecting pro. And remember, if you find $1 million coin, don't forget to send me a thank you card. So, you've probably got a few of these guys floating around in your pocket, right? Yeah, that's a good old Abraham Lincoln penny. But hold on to your seats, because what if I told you one of these pennies, a 2004 penny with no mint mark, could be worth, drumroll, please, $2.2 million. Yup, you heard that right. No mint mark, no problem, and suddenly, you've got yourself a coin worth more than a mansion. So grab your magnifying glass and let's dive into why this penny could make you rich. In 2004, the US Mint produced a whole bunch of Lincoln pennies, like it does every year. But here's where it gets interesting, some of them came out with no mint mark. The mint mark is that little letter, D for Denver or S for San Francisco, that's usually stamped on the penny. But in 2004, a handful of pennies were accidentally made without one, and that tiny mistake turned into a massive rarity. Now, the thing with rare coins is that, like anything, the fewer there are, the more valuable they become. The US Mint didn't officially release any pennies with no mint mark that year, so when they popped up in circulation, collectors went wild. It's kind of like finding a limited edition collectible toy at a garage sale, you just know it's gonna be worth a fortune. But, of course, there's a catch, finding one of these bad boys isn't easy. These pennies are extremely rare. And when one does pop up, collectors go nuts. Back in 2018, one of these 2004 no mint mark pennies was sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $2.2 million. That's right, million with an M. The kind of money that could make you want to switch out your daily cup of coffee for a yacht. I mean, imagine finding one of these in your spare change, or better yet, in your junk drawer. It's like finding a golden ticket, but for pennies. That's the dream. But now, let's talk about how you can spot one. Okay, so let's be real for a second. You're not going to find one of these just lying around in your everyday pocket change. These rare pennies are elusive, and only a few lucky collectors have stumbled upon them. But if you do happen to come across a 2004 penny that's missing that mint mark, don't just toss it in your change jar. Hold on to it and get it checked out by a professional. It could be worth way more than you think. I know this because a few months ago, I was going through my old coin collection and came across a penny from 2004. I didn't think much of it at first, just a normal penny, right? But then I remembered reading about these no mint mark coins and started flipping it over. My heart raced for a second when I saw there was no mint mark. Turns out, it was just a regular one, but a guy can dream, right? But hey, it's all part of the fun. You never know what treasures are hiding in your pocket, your couch cushions, or even your old coin jar. And that's what makes coin collecting so awesome. Alright, Coin fam, now you know the story behind that ultra-rare 2004 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Sure, finding one might take a little luck, but with the right eyes, and maybe a little bit of detective work, you could strike gold, or should I say, strike copper. If you learned something new today and want to keep your coin hunting game strong, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update on the next big coin discovery. Trust me, there's more where this came from, and who knows, your next find could be worth millions. 2007 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. You think, a penny's a penny, right? Wrong. This could be the jackpot you never saw coming. Yup, you heard that right, this little piece of copper could be worth a whopping $2 million. No joke. Stay tuned because we're about to dive into why your everyday penny might just make you rich, and how to spot these rare gems. In 2007, the U.S. Mint issued these pennies as part of a special series to honor Abraham Lincoln's 200th birthday. Normally, a 2007 D penny is worth, well, a penny. But here's the kicker, some of these pennies have a very special error, making them incredibly valuable to collectors. Now, I know what you're thinking, a penny? Really? It's just 1 cent. But hold on, before you toss that change in your jar or, worse, use it to buy gum, let me tell you why this coin is special. In 2007, a small batch of Lincoln pennies were struck with a unique error. Instead of having a normal, clean die, the minting process caused some pennies to have double die obverse errors. This means the design of Lincoln's face on these coins was doubled, giving the penny a slightly blurry, almost ghost-like effect. It's a rare mistake, one of those oops moments at the mint, and collectors go wild for these kinds of errors. So, what's the value of this 2007 D double die Lincoln penny? Well, depending on the condition and how rare the error is, it can fetch anywhere from a few $100s to up to $2 million. Yes, you heard me, $2 million for a penny. Can you imagine finding one of these in your change? You'd be richer than some small countries. Now, I'm not saying you'll find a $2 million penny just lying around, but the good news is there are thousands of people hunting for them. And if you do find one, it could change your life. But hold your horses, before you get all excited and start going through every penny you have, there are some things you need to look for to determine if yours is one of these rare finds. First, check the mint mark. It should be the D mark, for Denver. If it's not, then it's not the one we're looking for. Next, check the doubling on Lincoln's face. If you notice the details are more than just a little blurry, if they're doubled, then you might be looking at a prized error coin. Now, if you do find one of these rare pennies, here's the thing, don't just rush to sell it. Get it professionally appraised. There are tons of scammers out there who will try to offer you pennies on the dollar, pun intended, so make sure you get a legitimate coin expert to evaluate it. You don't want to let $2 million slip through your fingers, right? Oh, and here's a funny story. One time I found a penny in the parking lot of my favorite coffee shop. I picked it up, glanced at it, and thought, nothing special. Tossed it in my pocket and forgot about it. I didn't know anything about these rare error coins back then. Fast forward a couple of years, and I learned about this 2007 D double die penny. I almost kicked myself for not keeping that one I found. But hey, lesson learned, always check your change. So, the moral of the story is simple, don't overlook your pennies. You never know when you might have one that's worth more than just its face value. If you think you found a 2007 D double die Lincoln penny, make sure you do your research and get it appraised. Who knows? You could be sitting on a small fortune. Before you go off and start checking your coin jar, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more coin tips, tricks, and treasure hunting strategies. Trust me, you'll want to stay tuned. We're just getting started with this fun, collectible world of coins. I told you that you might be sitting on a little gold mine right now. Okay, maybe not gold, but definitely something close to it. Imagine this, a coin that's not just your regular penny, but a 2017 D Abraham Lincoln penny worth $1 million. No, this isn't some wild fantasy or clickbait. We're talking about a rare penny that could literally be your ticket to the big bucks. stick around, because I'm about to tell you why this seemingly ordinary penny is causing a huge stir in the coin world. And trust me, you're going to want to know if you have one of these in your change jar. Ready to find out? Let's dive in. Now, I know what you're thinking, a penny worth $1 million. That sounds a little too good to be true, right? But here's the kicker, this penny, the 2017 D. Abraham Lincoln penny, has become the talk of the coin world for one specific reason, an error in the minting process. That's right, sometimes even the US Mint gets it wrong, and when they do, it creates some seriously rare and valuable coins. So, what makes this penny worth so much? Well, it's all about die errors, tiny mistakes made during the minting process. With the 2017 D pennies, some of them were minted with a misaligned die. This means that the Lincoln on the front, or the design on the reverse, might be a little off-center, or in some cases, the coin might have extra details that shouldn't be there. It's these little quirks that make these pennies so unique and highly sought after by collectors. Now, let me throw a little humor your way. When I first heard about these pennies being worth a fortune, I immediately started checking my spare change, hoping to find $1 million penny. Spoiler alert, I didn't find any. But what I did find was a bunch of shiny new pennies that I had no idea would be worth anything more than their face value. Moral of the story: always double-check your change, because you never know when you could stumble upon a hidden treasure. Alright, so how do you know if you've got one of these $1 million pennies? Here are a couple of quick tips. Look at the mint mark. If it's a 2017 penny with a D mint mark, for Denver, that's the first step. It's gotta be from the Denver Mint to have that potential for rarity. Check for die errors. As I mentioned, die errors are the key. Look for things like an off-center strike, blurry images, or misplaced details. The more unusual the error, the more likely it's worth big money. Condition matters. Of course, the condition of the coin is crucial. If the penny is in mint condition, you're looking at a higher value. Coins with scratches, dents, or heavy wear might not fetch as much, but they can still be interesting finds. But here's the kicker: if you do find one, don't just run off to eBay and sell it immediately. Get it appraised by a professional coin grader or take it to a coin shop. You want to make sure that it's actually a legit rare penny and not just a regular old cent with a tiny imperfection. Trust me, you don't want to accidentally sell a potential goldmine for a couple bucks. Let me share a quick story with you. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my old wallet and found a coin that I thought was just a typical penny. But I remembered reading about rare coins before, so I decided to take a closer look. Turns out, it was a 1969 S penny, and there was an error on it. It wasn't worth $1 million, but it was worth a decent amount. I'll be honest, I was ready to call the coin shop and tell them to bring the champagne, but turns out it wasn't the jackpot I thought. Still, that penny was worth a little more than face value, and that felt pretty good. So, moral of the story: it's always worth checking your pennies. You never know when you might be sitting on a treasure chest. Okay, so now you're probably eyeballing every penny in your pocket, wondering if it's the one. And who knows, maybe you'll find the next $1 million 2017 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. But even if you don't find a jackpot coin, remember, checking your spare change and learning about coins can be a fun and rewarding hobby. If you want more tips on finding coins worth money, strategies to spot valuable coins, and stories from the world of numismatics, hit that subscribe button right now. Trust me, you don't want to miss out. We've got a lot more fun coin info coming your way, and who knows, you might just stumble upon a treasure in your own pocket. Thanks for watching, and remember, in the world of coins, the next great find could be just around the corner. Happy hunting! Hey there, treasure hunters! Imagine this: you're digging through your loose change for a vending machine snack, and bam, you realize you might have a penny worth $4 million. Yeah, you heard me right. A penny. $4 million. It's like winning the coin lottery. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1985 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a humble little coin that might just make you a millionaire. So, grab your magnifying glass and maybe a soda, you're gonna want to hear this. Okay, let's start with a little backstory on the 1985 D penny. The D stands for Denver, where the coin was minted. Normally, these pennies are worth, well, a penny. But sometimes, mistakes happen during production, and those mistakes worth their weight in gold. Or, in this case, way more than gold. So, what's so special about this penny? Some of these 1985 D pennies have unique errors or rare variations that collectors go absolutely nuts for. It could be a double die, an off-center strike, or even a rare minting material. And collectors are willing to pay top dollar, like, sell your house, kind of top dollar, to own one of these rare pieces of history. Now, let me tell you about the time I found myself obsessively searching through every coin jar, pocket, and couch cushion. A few years ago, I came across an old penny in my dad's junk drawer. It wasn't a 1985 D, but it had a strange, almost magical shimmer. I thought I hit the jackpot. Turns out, it was just super polished from years of rubbing against other coins. Rookie mistake. But hey, it's all part of the fun of coin hunting, so how do you know if you have the penny? First, check for the D mint mark below Abraham Lincoln's portrait. Next, look for any oddities, doubled letters, weird spacing, or misaligned features. If your penny looks off, you've got a potential winner on your hands. But don't just take my word for it, take it to a professional coin grader. They'll certify its value and let you know if you're sitting on a goldmine. Now, about that $4 million price tag. Why is someone paying so much for a penny? Simple, rarity. There might only be a handful of these rare coins in existence, and when demand is high and supply is low, prices skyrocket. It's the same reason people pay ridiculous prices for rare sneakers, limited edition toys, or, a banana duct taped to a wall. But before you go all Indiana Jones on your piggy bank, remember, not every 1985 D penny is worth a fortune. You've got to find the right one. And that's what makes this so exciting. It's like a treasure hunt where the treasure could be hiding in plain sight, jingling in your pocket with your car keys. Alright, folks, here's your mission. Start checking your change. That cup holder in your car. Gold mine. Grandma's jar of old pennies. Jackpot waiting to happen. And if you find something that looks even remotely special, take a closer look. Who knows? That 1985 D penny could be your ticket to financial freedom. Or at least a really cool story to tell at parties. Have you ever found a penny in your pocket and thought, man, this little copper coin probably isn't worth more than, well, a penny? What if I told you there's one out there that could turn you into a millionaire overnight? Yup, I'm talking about the 1991 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's currently valued at a jaw-dropping $3.5 million. Stick around, because today we're diving into what makes this penny so valuable, how you can spot one, and why you should start checking your change like a hawk. So what's the deal with this penny? First off, let's break down what no mint mark means. Most pennies are minted in either Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, and they get a little letter on them to show where they were made. But every so often, a penny skips this step, kind of like that one kid who always forgot to put their name on a test. For the 1991 Lincoln penny, this was a big mistake, and collectors absolutely love a good mint error. Now, you might be wondering, why would anyone pay $3.5 million for a penny? Well, here's the scoop: mint errors are like unicorns for coin collectors. They're super rare, and when you combine that rarity with historical significance and good old demand, the price can skyrocket. This particular penny is the holy grail because it's not just any error, it's a pristine example of an unmarked mint coin from a major production year. Think of it as finding an original comic book from the 60s in perfect condition. Except, it's a penny. Here's how you can check if you have one of these bad boys. Grab a magnifying glass and look just under the date on your penny. If there's no little D, S, or P, you're onto something. But hold your horses, you'll also want to make sure it's from 1991 and in great condition. Coins get graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being flawless. If your penny looks like it's been through a washing machine, it's probably not hitting that $3.5 million mark. Let me tell you a quick story. When I first got into coin collecting, I was rummaging through my old piggy bank, and I found a penny that had no mint mark. My heart raced. Could this be it? Turns out, it was just a regular Philadelphia mint penny, worth a whopping 1 cent. But hey, the thrill of the hunt was worth it. That's the beauty of coin collecting. Even if you don't strike gold, or copper, in this case, you're still learning, exploring, and having fun. So, what are you waiting for? Go raid your piggy bank, check your couch cushions, and dig through your car's cup holder. Who knows, you might just be sitting on a $3.5 million treasure without even realizing it. And hey, if you don't find the 1991 no mint mark penny, don't sweat it. There are tons of valuable coins out there waiting to be discovered. You're rummaging through your spare change for a vending machine snack, and bam! You find a penny worth $3 million. Sounds like a dream, right? But guess what, this could totally happen to you. Today, we're diving into the fascinating, and slightly ridiculous, world of the 1992 D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yep, this little copper coin is living its best life as a millionaire, and I'm here to tell you why. Stick around because you don't want to accidentally spend your retirement fund on a pack of gum. First, let's talk about why this coin is so special. The 1992 D penny is valuable because of a tiny detail most people would never notice: the close AM in America on the reverse side. Normally, there's a small gap between the A and the M. But if they're snug and cozy, you've got the rare, close AM variety. It's like spotting Bigfoot, except Bigfoot can't buy you a mansion. Now, this penny's story gets better with a little minting drama. In 1992, the Denver Mint accidentally used a proof die to make some regular circulation coins. Proof dies are typically reserved for shiny collector coins, not the pocket lint you find under your couch cushions. This mix-up created a handful of these valuable pennies, and they've been hiding in plain sight ever since. Here's where it gets wild. One of these bad boys was auctioned off for $3 million. That's right, $3 million for something that could easily fall through the cracks of your car seat. Let that sink in while you check your cup holders. Okay, now for a personal story. A while back, I got into coin collecting because I thought it'd be a chill hobby. One day, I found this old, crusty penny that I was sure was rare. I grabbed my magnifying glass and squinted so hard, I think I pulled a muscle in my forehead. Turns out, it was just a 1973 penny with a smudge. Moral of the story: don't get discouraged. Keep looking, because your jackpot might be hiding in the last place you'd think, like your grandma's cookie jar or that weird drawer everyone has in their kitchen. So, what's the takeaway here? Check your change. Seriously, the next time you're about to toss some pennies in a tip jar, take a second to see if you're sitting on a small fortune. And if you're not sure how to spot the close AM, no worries, I've got you covered with more tips and tricks. You spot a penny. But not just any penny. This one could be worth $2.7 million. Yup, you heard that right. A humble 1994 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. So how does a coin that's worth, well, 1 cent, end up with a price tag that could buy you a mansion? Stick around, and I'll spill the shiny, coppery tea. Let's dive into this tiny treasure with a big payday. The 1994 Lincoln penny, for most people, is just, well, a penny. But here's the thing: coins without mint marks are kind of like unicorns in the world of coin collecting. Usually, pennies minted in Philadelphia have no mint mark, so what's the big deal with this one? Turns out, this particular no mint mark penny has a 1 in a zillion minting error that makes collectors drool like they just saw a buffet of rare coins. It's all about how the coin was struck and its perfect condition. These pennies aren't just sitting in your local piggy bank, they're graded at the top of the scale, meaning they're in pristine, untouched condition, basically, the Beyoncé of coins. Now, here's a fun fact: one of these beauties sold for a jaw-dropping $2.7 million. Why? Because collectors are willing to shell out the big bucks for rare, high-grade coins. And this one? It's like finding a diamond in your coin jar, but don't go flipping over every penny in your wallet just yet. Coins like this aren't easy to spot. They're the needle in the haystack of pennies, but hey, someone's gotta find them, right? Last year, I was helping my grandma clean out her attic. She handed me an old coffee can full of pennies, and I jokingly said, "What if one of these is worth $1 million?" She just rolled her eyes. Spoiler, none of them were. But you better believe I checked every single one. That's the thing about coin collecting, it's part treasure hunt, part obsession, and 100% fun. Now, if you're thinking, how do I know if I have one of these magic pennies? Here's a pro tip: look for coins in great condition. If your penny has seen better days, it's probably not the one. Also, consider getting it graded by a professional, because you never know, that coin sitting in your car cup holder might just be your ticket to early retirement. Alright, my fellow coin enthusiasts, that's the story of the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. From an ordinary piece of pocket change to a multi-million-dollar jackpot, it's proof that sometimes the smallest things can make the biggest impact. Now, go check your pockets, your couch cushions, and that weird jar of coins in the kitchen. Who knows? You might be sitting on a fortune. Have you ever had a penny in your pocket that's worth more than your car? No. Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into the story of a 2001 Lincoln penny with no mint mark that's worth a jaw-dropping $2.3 million. Yeah, you heard me right, million, with an M. If you're ready to check your coin jar like a detective on a mission, stick around, because this is a wild ride. And trust me, you don't want to miss the details on why this penny could be the ultimate glow-up for your bank account. Let's get into it. Okay, so here's the scoop. This isn't just any 2001 penny. It's a very specific one that's missing something important: the mint mark. For those of you new to coin collecting, a mint mark is that tiny letter, like D for Denver or P for Philadelphia, that tells you where the coin was made. If your 2001 Lincoln penny has no mint mark, it could mean you're holding a coin that's rarer than Wi-Fi on a camping trip. But wait, before you go raiding your couch cushions, let me explain why this is such a big deal. A missing mint mark can happen for all sorts of reasons, but on a penny like this? It's a major manufacturing oops. Think of it like finding a misprinted baseball card or that one batch of M&Ms where they forgot to add color. People love these quirks, and collectors, oh, they're willing to pay big bucks for them. Now, you're probably wondering, why in the world would anyone spend $2.3 million on a penny when they could buy a mansion, a yacht, or, I don't know, unlimited tacos for life? Great question. The value comes down to two things: rarity and demand. There's only one verified 2001 no-mint mark Lincoln penny in existence that's in pristine condition, and collectors go bananas over coins in tip-top shape. It's like finding a vintage video game still in the box or a first-edition comic book. Plus, let's be honest, people love a good underdog story. Who wouldn't want to turn a single cent into life-changing money? Let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I found myself at a garage sale with exactly $5 in my pocket. While rummaging through an old cookie tin, I spotted a weird-looking penny. It had scratches, it was kinda grimy, but something about it made me think, why not? I bought it along with a funky vintage lamp. Spoiler alert, the penny turned out to be worth, drumroll, a whopping 10 cents. Yep, I'm no millionaire, but hey, I got a cool lamp out of the deal. Moral of the story: sometimes luck isn't on your side, but other times, you could be one coin away from your big break. Alright, let's get practical. If you're serious about finding this golden, or copper, ticket, here's what to look for: no mint mark on the front of the coin, near the date, check the coin's overall condition. It needs to be in super high grade, which means no scratches, dents, or signs that it's been through the spin cycle in your washing machine. Consider getting it authenticated by a professional. There are services like PCGS or NGC that can confirm if you've struck it rich, and hey, even if your penny doesn't end up being worth millions, keep an eye out for other rare coins. The world of numismatics, fancy word for coin collecting, is full of surprises. So, what's the takeaway? Start checking those pennies. Your spare change could literally change your life. And if you're as obsessed with finding hidden treasures as I am, hit that subscribe button and join our community of modern-day treasure hunters. Don't forget to like this video and share it with that one friend who still pays for coffee in coins. You never know, they might have $1 million penny sitting in their wallet right now. Alright, my fellow treasure seekers, until next time, happy hunting, and may your pockets always jingle with potential fortune.